think when you were talking about it at Davos, and around that time, I was thinking that some of the reporting I had previously done when I was at the Wall Street Journal had been to find out that DeepMind, which was an AI lab that was part of Google, had actually been secretly spending several years trying to break away from Google. And when I dug into why, it turned out that the founders were actually very concerned about a very large company like Google having sole control over the powerful AI that they were eventually hoping to build. And it made me think, when ChatGPT came out, we have this because of this quest that two of the world's most important AI builders are on to build this powerful AI. But both of them have really grappled with this issue of control. Like, who should control this technology? Who should provide the oversight? And I thought there's this whole power dynamic and this struggle going on behind the scenes. I think people didn't really know about it. And I thought it was important to also bring it to light.
We've heard a little bit about a power struggle through the lens of Sam Altman and whether the company OpenAI should be for profit or not for profit, and a few changing, moving parts around who is at the board level and who is not. So we've seen elements of it, I think, in a public-facing way. But behind the scenes, just to explore that race for us, what is the race looking like in terms of who's going to be number one, who's holding the keys to the future around AI?
Well, what happened with Sam Altman and OpenAI, where he created this nonprofit, and then he was fired by the nonprofit board and then came back, and now the organization is becoming a for-profit organization. That to me was like almost a parallel situation of what was happening at DeepMind. Both these companies were trying to build these super intelligent systems, and both of them were just struggling to either become a nonprofit or stay a nonprofit, because they both founders saw kind of a red flag of this control of AI by these companies that were ultimately becoming so powerful. Now, to your question about who is kind of winning in this, I think it's very clear 2 years since ChatGPT has come out that it's the biggest tech companies. If you look at the aggregate market capitalizations of the largest 6 tech firms just in the last 2 years, it's gone up by $8 trillion. That's just in 2 years, how much they've grown.
I've read the prologue, and I intend to thoroughly read the whole thing. I think it's a great book so far. It really captured me from literally. I mean, there's so many dull business books out there. So just give you full credit for capturing my attention straight away.
Great.
I agree with you. I think it's a book about duels. Microsoft versus Google, for good versus for profit. Hassabis versus Altman as well. Yeah. So I quite like the fact that I think we're gearing me up for a series of duels. But the problem is, I think I know the answer in the end to some of the key questions is who wins, and the answer is big business wins at the expense of humanity. Have I jumped to the conclusion and I made the wrong conclusion?
A little. Well, no. Yeah, you're there pretty much. But I do the end of the book. The first half of the book is really storytelling, and people have called it gripping, and it really is about the people. The last part is more of an analysis about what it all means, connecting the dots, why it matters. And yes, it's disappointing that it's kind of a repeat of what's happened in history, of this concentration of power in one particular industry in an unprecedented way in tech. But there are things that are happening to address that. Regulation is coming from the European Union. There are many court cases coming to the fore addressing companies like Character AI, the kids who are addicted to companion bots, deepfake porn. There's some really good court cases trying to address that. Trade unions are doing a lot of work on this. So I think the more we talk about the people behind technology, so the tech doesn't just disappear and become part of our lives, I think the more people are aware that they can do something about it.